What's up, Everyday Blades? So today I want to talk about the best knives I received or bought in 2022. It's getting near the end of the year. I want to do some wrap-up videos. These are the best budget, and we're going to call budget today under $200. And I actually had to pull it up higher than I wanted to just to include a couple of these because I think they're just a killer value. Most of these are in the $50 to $80 range. Super affordable, great knives. All the way down to $28. Okay. I want to start with the ultimate budget knife. $58 Nafz Lander. This, I recently did a video on this. This is a great little knife. This is a perfect first time EDC for someone. Perfect knife for an older teenager. Or just an in general, everyday carry for something that you can really use. And it's not going to show a ton of wear unless you just beat the crap out of it. Scales are easily swapped. You don't have to take the knife apart. You don't have to mess with the pivot. It's just a great design. Ben Peterson, Nafz Co. Lander. This is from Defcon. This is their budget line, the S-Tech. This knife is huge, but it has a very small presence in the pocket. It's very narrow, but it has a huge blade. It has an excellent action. This is a $50-ish knife, $50, $60. Micarta. Action's perfect. The lockup's perfect. It's an example of really good quality without breaking the bank. This knife makes me giggle every time I see it. This knife has a special place in my heart. So I didn't even know about Rosecraft blades, I'm embarrassed to say, until this year. And man, they got my attention really quickly. They sent this and another knife. This is the little chonk. Every time I say that name, I get a kick out of it. But the claim to fame with this knife is not just that it looks cool, because it really does, and it's a great little knife. But chonk really describes it because it's got a full grip. I have very large hands, and when you're doing a lot of cutting, that full grip is very, very comfortable. With that Wharncliffe style blade, I love that. Super sharp. It's got sexy grind lines. Like $80. I mean, that's a home run. Great action. The flipper could work a little better, but I don't use a flipper anyway. I thumb roll. I like to slow roll this one out. It's just what it was made to do. It will flip. It will thumb out. Well, it's just me under the camera, but the best method of deployment for this one is just a slow roll. It's not here to do tricks. It's here to work. This one, another great knife. So push buttons are huge for me. I love push button knives. I wish they made more, and it seems like they're starting to make more. This is Orion Knives. Look at that pivot. Very cool. Oh, I didn't say the blade steel. This is D2 blade steel. This one, I believe, is 14C 28N. And this one is D2, I believe. Let's make sure. Yeah, D2. This one is, I believe, 14C 28N. Not positive of that, but I believe it is. Nice micarta scales, nice pencil style clip with a good looking backspacer, G10 backspacer. The action on this thing is phenomenal. It's a good looking knife. It's a great size. We actually had this one and the large one. This is the Orion. I can't remember if it's a Solaris. There's a Solaris and another one. I can't remember which one we ended up keeping. We gave the other one away. But just a great knife. They have this one in another size that are very similar. One's just larger than the other one. Great knife. I'd carry that one quite a bit. This is one that pushed it up to the $200 mark. And this one's actually, I think, like $220, to be honest with you. It's kind of cheating. But I'm not a Balisong guy, but I just love this knife, man. They built the hell out of this Balisong. It is so smooth and feels so good. It's got this proprietary quick release. It has tools that go with it that are titanium fork, spoon, and some other tools that go on here. This is a great camp knife, man. Because like I've always said with a Balisong, when you flip it open, you have a fixed blade knife. And what's better than a fixed blade knife for camp task? And it's just, I can't get it through the video how great this thing feels. The action is butter. Feels like it's on bearings, but it's on washers. This is the Max Ace Z-Lot. And that steel, 10 CR, 15 COMDV, is compared a lot. I did some research on it after I did my initial intro video on it. The steel is comparable to, it's comparable and it's not comparable. A lot of people say you shouldn't compare it to, but it's the closest steel you can compare it to is VG10. But the stuff I've read, it's a little bit better. It has really good edge retention, really good stainless properties. It's just an overall great steel. A lot of makers use this for kitchen knives because it's so corrosion resistant. So, great knife, great steel, $68. Love this little knife. This is the Mantis Gearhead. Check out those gears turning. We've had some cool knives come out this year with the Factor, the magnet knife Factor. That thing is super cool. This is super cool. The steel is 440C. It'll get the job done. This is not going to be a hard use knife. This is an art knife, so that's good to go for that. It's got a liner lock, and you can see the gears deploy, and you just pull this switch, boom, with authority. Super cool knife. I love that thing. So I'm not super big into slip joints, but the walk and talk on this thing is awesome. This is one of the biggest this is the biggest slip joint I've ever had. The lockup is really good. I like this knife. I really do. I like the hardware, beautifully anodized. Got the marbled carbon fiber. Under $200. I think it's right at $200, and it has a really good looking slip that came with it. Max Ace Albatross. Alright. This is Bestech's new line, Bestekman. This is the Bestekman Dundee. This is their budget level, their entry level. This is D2. It's a good size knife. It's really clean, has great lines. It's like $50-ish. I mean, it's when you're talking budget, that's for me, $50 is about as low as you can go in my book for a good knife. I'm going to show you one example that breaks that rule, but it's actually a $50 knife that's discounted to $28. Has nice refined jimping here. This knife is not like super exciting, but it does everything it needs to do for $50. And it's got a good sized blade on it with nice grind lines. If $50 is all you had to spend on a knife, you wouldn't be hurting if you had that. So this one, I didn't know how to feel when I got it. This is different for me. This is a push dagger from Bestech. They sent this to me as a gift, kind of for reviewing some of their products, and I included it with the review. A lot of their knives I have to send back because they just don't have very many of them. So they sent me this as kind of a thank you for reviewing their knives. This fits right here, and I can't even imagine being on the receiving end of that. I wouldn't want no part of it. I really don't want to be on the giving end of it either, to be honest with you. But man, to have a knife stop like that is just different. But it's a cool looking knife, no doubt. And one reviewer pointed out it's great for opening packages, man. That's perfect knife for that. Alright, let's go to the Holtzman's. Holtzman's claim to fame is their Holtzman Gorilla Survival Knife, the fixed blade. We've given away a couple of them here. I have one in my personal collection. They're awesome knives for $99. This knife is even cheaper than that, and this is a great knife. The action on this thing is killer. It just feels so good. They did an excellent job, and I don't know who the OEM was on it, but man, hats off to you. You guys did a great job. It was a very elegant pivot with the H on it. Got the Gorilla Clip. Black G10. It's just a nice knife. It's a nice size knife for me, a guy with big hands. It's a larger knife. Just feels really good. A lot of this stuff is really hard to get across in videos because a lot of it is feel. It's just the way the knife feels when it operates, when it's in hand. And this is another great one. But this is the $28 knife we were talking about. With crazy good action, perfect centering, JG10 scales, running on, I believe they're ceramic bearings, I'm not positive, but brass pivot collar. I mean, you ain't going to beat that. That is a good size knife, well built, D2 by CJRB. Great, great knife for $28. This is a great knife for $50. Alien Knives. This is a well put together, well built knife. 14C28N. This is the MIDI DX2. Very good ergonomics. The only complaint I would have is where you choke up here. If you were to try to use that for a finger tool, it doesn't quite fit in there. You have to sit back here on the knife. But it feels really good back here. It's almost like a pistol grip. It just, your hand falls right into it. Huge belly. Nice knife. 50, 60 bucks. And the cream of the crop this year for budget knives. Olight Metal. METTLE. I just recently made a video on this knife. This knife is killer. It's still in my pocket every day. I think we're day 12 or something. It's been in my pocket every single day. I just love this knife. I can't even tell you what I love about it. I love the way it fits my hand. I love the size. It disappears in my pocket. Not a big fan of the coated blades, but the coating's holding up really well. I'm using it every day. Just a cool knife. Great knife. You can't go wrong with that. I think they were like 60, 80 bucks, maybe 100. I have to look that up. I don't have the price on that one, but that is a killer knife. They have an orange one without a coated blade. But anyway, that's the 2022 budget line. And I know $200 is stretching the word budget quite a bit, but there's only a couple of them in here that knocked on that. So the Gearhead was $200 also. So most of the rest of them were around the $50 to $80 range. So we cheated just a little bit. Guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you're not. God bless you and your families. Say a prayer for our country. Good night.